The sun smiled down on the orchard. It was a bright and cheerful day.
Come on, everyone, let's play.
What should we play?
Whoopsie.
Orange giggled, her leaves rustling. Banana, always goofy, slipped on his peel, making everyone laugh. Plum, shy and sweet, peeked from behind a leaf.
I like games.
Suddenly, a tiny voice squeaked.
Me too, me too.
Let's explore the berry patch.
The friends skipped towards the tall, leafy bushes. They rustled and hummed with a life of their own.
It's a bit spooky in here.
Don't worry, I'll protect you.
Plum held tightly onto Orange, her eyes wide.
What if something is hiding?
Little Blueberry, however, was fearless.
Maybe we'll find a friendly ladybug.
As they ventured deeper, they spotted something red and juicy. It was Strawberry, looking sad.
What's wrong? I have so many berries, but no one to share them with.
We can share with you.
Plum, her shyness forgotten, offered Strawberry a piece of her leaf.
We can make a picnic.
Little Blueberry bounced excitedly.
Sharing is fun.
Just then, a bunch of grapes swung down from a vine. It was Grape with his many brothers.
Want to play a game? We love counting.
Grape dropped a cluster of berries into Banana's open peel.
How many are there?
Banana carefully counted each one.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Little Blueberry chirped.
Now we divide them equally.
Each friend took a grape and they all savored the sweet, juicy flavor. Deeper and deeper they went into the berry patch. The children were filled with excitement and curiosity, their eyes wide with wonder as they ventured further into the lush greenery. The air was filled with the sweet scent of ripe berries, and the sound of rustling leaves accompanied their every step. They could hear the distant chirping of birds and the occasional rustle of a small animal scurrying away. The deeper they went, the more magical the place seemed to become. The leaves grew thicker, casting cool shadows. The sunlight filtered through the dense foliage, creating a dappled pattern on the ground. The children felt a sense of adventure as they navigated through the maze of leaves and branches. The cool shadows provided a refreshing break from the warm sun, and the children took a moment to rest and enjoy the serene beauty of their surroundings. They could feel the soft, damp earth beneath their feet and the gentle breeze that rustled the leaves above. Suddenly, they came to a clearing. The children gasped in awe as they stepped into the open space. The clearing was bathed in sunlight, and the grass was a vibrant green. It felt like they had stumbled upon a hidden oasis in the middle of the dense berry patch. The children looked around in amazement, taking in the beauty of the clearing. They could see colorful flowers blooming around the edges and butterflies flitting from one blossom to another. In the center sat a huge green melon. It was unlike any melon they had ever seen before. The melon was enormous, with a smooth green rind that glistened in the sunlight. The children were drawn to it, their curiosity piqued by its size and beauty. They approached the melon cautiously, wondering what secrets it might hold. The melon seemed almost magical, as if it had a story to tell. He was old and wrinkled, but his eyes twinkled with wisdom. The children could sense that this was no ordinary melon. It had a presence, a sense of age and knowledge that made them feel both curious and respectful. The wise old melon seemed to be watching them, its twinkling eyes full of kindness and understanding. The children felt a connection to the melon, as if it had been waiting for them to arrive.
Welcome, little fruits. What brings you to my part of the patch? The voice was gentle and warm, and the children felt immediately at ease. They looked at each other, wondering who would speak first. The wise old melon seemed to understand their hesitation and smiled encouragingly. The children felt a sense of belonging, as if they had found a new friend in this magical place.
We're on an adventure! The children exclaimed in unison, their voices filled with excitement and joy. They began to tell the wise old melon about their journey, how they had decided to explore the berry patch and discover its hidden treasures. The melon listened patiently, nodding and smiling as the children shared their stories. It was clear that the melon enjoyed hearing about their adventures and was happy to be a part of their journey.
Ah, valuable lessons indeed, the wise old melon said with a nod. The children could see the wisdom in the melon's eyes and knew that they were in the presence of someone special. The melon began to share stories of its own, tales of the garden and the many adventures it had witnessed over the years. The children listened intently, eager to learn from the melon's experiences and gain new insights into the world around them.
And we're learning about friendship and sharing, added Plum. Wise old Melon smiled. The children felt a sense of accomplishment and pride as they realized the importance of the lessons they were learning. They knew that their adventure was not just about exploring the berry patch, but also about growing as individuals and building strong bonds with each other. The wise old melon had helped them see the value of friendship and sharing, and they were grateful for the experience. As they prepared to continue their journey, the children knew that they would carry the wisdom of the melon with them, always.
I have a challenge for you,
chuckled wise old melon. He pointed his stem towards a tall pile of leaves. This challenge is not just about strength, but about unity and cooperation, he added with a twinkle in his eye. The children gathered around, curious and excited. They knew that wise old melon always had the best challenges, ones that made them think and work together.
The sweetest berries are hidden under there, but you can only reach them by working together. Each of you has a role to play, and only by combining your efforts will you succeed. The children looked at each other, their faces lighting up with determination. They knew that this was not just a test of their physical abilities, but also of their ability to communicate and collaborate.
Apple, orange, banana, plum, and little blueberry put their heads together. They began to strategize, discussing the best way to tackle the challenge. We need to be careful not to damage the berries, said Apple. And we need to make sure we all pull at the same time, added Orange. Banana suggested they form a line and pass the leaves down, while Plum and Little Blueberry agreed to keep an eye out for any berries that might get squished.
We can do it! Let's show wise old melon what we're made of. The children cheered each other on, their spirits high. They knew that by working together, they could overcome any obstacle. They took their positions, ready to face the challenge head-on.
They cried. They each grabbed a leaf and pulled. Finally, with a great heave, the leaves tumbled away, revealing a mountain of delicious berries. The children gasped in delight. Their hard work had paid off. They had not only uncovered the berries, but had also learned the value of teamwork and cooperation. They realized that by working together, they could achieve much more than they ever could alone.
We did it! The children jumped up and down, their faces beaming with joy. They had proven to themselves and to wise old melon that they could rise to any challenge. Their celebration was not just about the berries, but about the bond they had strengthened through their teamwork.
Cheered Orange, her skin glowing with pride. We did it together, and that's what makes it so special, she said, looking around at her friends. The children sat down to enjoy the fruits of their labor, sharing the berries and laughing together. They knew that this was just the beginning of many more adventures and challenges that they would face together as a team. The friends feasted on the berries, laughing and sharing stories of their adventure. The day had been filled with excitement and discovery. They had ventured into the berry fields early in the morning, baskets in hand, ready to pick the juiciest and ripest berries they could find. Each child had their own favorite type of berry, and they eagerly shared their knowledge with one another, teaching their friends how to spot the best ones. As they picked, they sang songs and played games, their laughter echoing through the fields. The sun began to set, casting a warm glow over the berry patch. The golden light made the berries glisten, and the children knew it was almost time to head back. They gathered their baskets, now overflowing with a colorful assortment of berries, and made their way to a cozy spot under a large tree. There, they spread out a blanket and laid out their feast. The air was filled with the sweet aroma of the berries, and the children couldn't wait to dig in.
It's time to go home. As they packed up their picnic, the children felt a sense of contentment. They had spent the day not just picking berries, but also strengthening their bonds of friendship. They knew that the memories they had made would last a lifetime. With their baskets in hand, they began the walk back home, the setting sun casting long shadows on the path ahead.
But we'll never forget our adventure. As they walked, they reminisced about the day's events. They talked about the biggest berries they had found, the funny moments they had shared, and the new things they had learned. Each child had a story to tell, and they listened to each other with rapt attention, knowing that these stories would be retold many times in the future.
They thanked Wise Old Melon for his wisdom and the delicious berries. Wise Old Melon had been a guiding figure throughout their adventure. He had taught them how to identify the best berries, shared stories of his own berry picking days, and even helped them when they encountered tricky spots in the field. The children were grateful for his kindness and knowledge, and they made sure to express their thanks before heading home.
Remember the lessons you've learned. Wise Old Melon had imparted many valuable lessons throughout the day. He had taught the children about patience, teamwork, and the importance of sharing. As they sat in a circle, listening to his final words of wisdom, they knew that these lessons would stay with them long after the day was over.
Boomed Wise Old Melon as they waved goodbye. His voice was filled with warmth and affection, and the children waved back enthusiastically. They knew that they would see him again soon, and they looked forward to more adventures in the berry fields.
Friendship, sharing, and teamwork make life sweeter than any berry. The children knew that the true treasure of the day wasn't just the berries they had picked, but the bonds they had strengthened and the memories they had created together. As they shared a bowl of mixed berries, they felt a deep sense of happiness and fulfillment, knowing that their friendship was the sweetest thing of all.
Back in the open orchard, the friends felt closer than ever. They had faced their fears, helped each other, and learned valuable lessons.
Sharing is caring,
Sang Strawberry, her red skin glowing.
And counting is fun.
Added Grape, his brothers bouncing in agreement.
We learned that even the smallest fruit can be brave.
Chirped Little Blueberry, remembering his adventure. Plum, no longer shy, nodded in agreement. As the moon replaced the sun, the fruit friends said their goodbyes. They were tired but happy, their hearts full of friendship and their minds full of new knowledge.
They knew that even though they were different, they could always count on each other.
And that made their orchard the sweetest place to be.
The end.